All right, before we go live, I just want to send peace, love, and God to everyone. There's a lot going on right now, and I just want to acknowledge that before we get into what did Prince do this week. Trying to get to my music. All right, there we go. So right now, I'm all by my lonesome, but not really. Let me make sure I turn on all of you. I'm going to do that, see what that does. All right, we got Anna B first in the chat. Ooh, I love this. Welcome to the What Did Prince Do This Week reading session where Purple members receive royal first class status and VIP treatment. We got Jamal Rowland, day one supporter of What Did Prince Do This Week. First time catching it live. Love the show and thank you from Austin, Texas. We are so thrilled, Jamal, that you have joined us live. Thank you for your support for 3 years in a row. That's amazing. We also got Andre Staley from Detroit. What up, though? We got Mira. Hello, everybody. We got Theo. Good morning, Purple people. We got RTL49. That's what I'm talking about, Theo. I know you are excited, and I'm so excited that you are excited. I'm trying to transition from Sun at times around the world in the day. There's so much going on right now, but we're going to get into the 30 virtual symposium. A couple of nights ago, I watched all 3 of the Glam Slam 94 birthday shows. It really got me in the mood. Amazing shows. Hopefully we'll get into that conversation next weekend. And speaking of next weekend, we will not be on YouTube for What Did Prince Do This Week. We will be at the virtual symposium, which will be on Zoom events like we did earlier this year for Pop Life 40. However, the keynotes with Michael Van Huffel, one of the artist designers of that era, as well as Mr. Hayes, Morris Hayes, those 2 keynote sessions will be on YouTube right here at Polished Solid. But everything else, and you know how it goes if you've been to one before, it's all about the chat. It's all about you. So the chat is going to be hopping on Zoom events. And we are very excited to talk about 30 years of the gold experience in Exodus. And if you're not excited, I know that Theo is excited, and that's all I need. All right, we got Chanel. Yes, thank you so much. That's so kind, Chanel. My favorite part of the week, and it's also my favorite part of the week, so that I am here in community with you, my purple people. Ooh, Realign a DJ. I am so excited that you have your avatar because we are going to be talking to the author of Dearly Beloved, Prince, Spirituality, and This Thing Called Life by Dr. Pamela Ayo Yetunde. So just make sure you stay tuned or you come back and watch the published stream. So let's see. Okay, we're going to get into this very soon, Realign a DJ. So Realign a DJ is saying the state is appreciated even when I don't always agree. I'm grateful. I'm with you. I am grateful. I'm grateful for everything that this state is giving us. So important to give gratitude for what we're getting. And why won't Jimmy pledge allegiance? We're going to talk about that very, very soon. We got Nick Felden from Denver. Look at Theo. Theo, it's doing it. Thank you so much, Theo. You are doing the work for me. I need help. So I really appreciate you so much. You have no idea. So yes, pre-registration is free for this upcoming symposium. And you do not want to miss this incredible virtual symposium because we get into the purple bubble, and it's nothing like being in the purple bubble. And if you've experienced the purple bubble, like where you're just immersed in Prince and you're in a different world, the purple world, for hours and hours upon end, it is a beautiful thing. So thank you so much, Theo. And we got EA from San Francisco. We got Ronald Dagley Jr. We got Lady Cab Driver from DC. And we got Lisa Williams from H-Town. We got Blade Brown, my alliterative brother. We have my timekeeper. I think I might be okay with time this week. We're gonna see. We got Divas for Social Justice. Oh, are you back from Greece? Did you make it home? Okay and safe. And then we got Sister Charles from H-Town. Hope everyone is staying positive. Thank you so much, Sister Charles. We really need to stay vigilant about positivity. Yes, it's so important right now. Audria, hello everyone. We got Karan Jones. And actually, speaking of Karan, let me pull up these amazing photos after I introduce you to week 37 of What Did Prince Do This Week. But Karan sent in, I'm going to say, one of the best images I've seen from this roll call because Karan is so fly. I can't believe, Karan, not only do you have the heart necklace, you got the heart mirrored bracelet, you got the ribbons in your hair, you got the glasses. I mean, this, actually, let me remove your banner here so everybody can see the whole fit, because this is an amazing shot. I love the angle. Whoever took this shot, I don't know if it was your husband. It was amazing, amazing shot, amazing shot. And then you can see, love this as well. So I really appreciate you sending these in. They really made my day. Oh, and I think I'm missing the peace sign. I think I even see a peace sign over here. So I think, Karan, you really did it up for Sign of Times Live. I'm still basking in the afterglow of being able to see that in theaters for IMAX. All right. So, okay. Oh, I'm so happy to hear, Purple Cat Confetti, that you're no longer in a dark space because your mold is gone. That is a huge, 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 huge relief, I'm sure. And it's because your safety is first and foremost, and mold is no joke. So I'm so happy to hear that that is no longer the case. And I know Kim is going to be a little upset, but I know that people are going to be wanting to talk about this. So we're going to move this from the salon portion, and I will put this in, I'll make sure that I put time codes in this week's episode so that we can hop along for those of you who are not with us in real time. So we got JD Washington. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that I am not alone. We got 71 with us. We got Man Ray 10. Yeah. Thank you, Man Ray 10. I love this perspective because I would have never thought about it this way, but you are giving me even more fuel for being here in this virtual studio by myself, but I'm definitely not alone. Again, thank you so much, JD and Man Ray 10. We got Raywin in the house, and oh, you gotta do tell Lady Cab Driver about the Glam Slam 94 birthday shows. I was at those shows, kinda. And then we got Elizabeth from Europe, and family always comes first. So I'm very happy to hear that you'll have sister time next weekend. But as always, if you register, you will be able to see, like right now, pre-registration is going on. So registration is going to open on Friday. And if you register, even if you don't attend, you'll be able to watch the videos immediately until the end of the month. And then I will have to get them edited and posted to YouTube later. And sometimes that takes a while. So if you can't make it, but you still want to see what happened, make sure you register once the registration link is released. But right now, there's pre-registration. All right. And let's see. Raywin is very excited, as am I, about the Round the World in a Day Deluxe. I can't wait for it. We got Ms. MJ Muse. We got Gabrielle from Down Under, and so excited for Dearly Beloved. I am also very excited about the conversation we're going to have with the author of Dearly Beloved, in probably about an hour, but Dr. Yetunde. So we got, let me see if I can pronounce this correctly, Capolavoro. from Europe. I tried. So, yes, Raymond, thank you for this. So I'm excited about the Around the World Around the World in a Day Deluxe because it's very close to my birthday. My birthday is November 23rd. This is coming out on November 21st. So it's kind of like a birthday gift to myself. And we have Heavenly Gains, always so great to be here. And I hear you, Lady Cab Driver. It really isn't a deluxe. It's been remastered, but it's better than nothing. I will say that. And yes, Theo, you're definitely doing more than your part. We got Carol Brooks from San Francisco. And yes, Karan, yes, the amazing photo, amazing photo from your hubby. We got TP in the house. We got El Michelle. We got Boombox Guru. And yes, we're going to do that. We're going to talk about Around the World Day Deluxe. And we got Love This, Love God, Love Life. Yeah, sexy. From K Cool Music. Okay. And then we got Melvin the Rush the Second. And yes, Night Child did a fantastic review. I actually have that first in the accompanying playlist. So if you go to my YouTube channel, go all the way to the bottom to the playlist for this week, which is week 37 of 1985, you will be able to see Night Child's review of Around the World in a Day Deluxe. And let's see. So, yes, Prince broadcasted the show live from Glam Slam Miami to both Glam Slam LA and Minneapolis. Yes, I was at Minneapolis watching the shows live. Amazing, Lady Cab Driver. I can't imagine what that was like in real time because seeing it now, 30 years later, it was incredible. So I just know the energy in those spaces at the Glam Slams. It was tri-coastal, as Prince said. And I'm curious, I wonder if anyone's done something like that since then. Obviously, there are pay-per-view broadcasts, all over the world. But at the time, that was actually pretty incredible. 1995 being tri-coastal with the video, and the technology wasn't where it is today. I can't even imagine. So we got Mooches 26, and I'm always happy to have Mooches 26 join us live because I always get to see Vanity. I love that. Oh, wow. Raywin's mom's birthday is the same as mine. I really appreciate it. And the Boombox Guru is looking forward to hearing Around the World in a Day remastered. Okay, we're getting into it. Love sexy. Yeah, sexy. I'm getting all tongue twisted today. Let me just slow down. I think that sometimes I get a little ahead of myself because I don't want to disappoint Kim and the timekeeping. But we're going to slow down today just because you'll see Prince didn't do that much this week, and we have a lot of other stuff to talk about. So I can kind of let me calm down a little bit. Okay. So Love Sexy 71 says, sort of disappointed with the deluxe release of Around the World in a Day because it didn't have any outtakes or extras, but I ordered it anyway, along with some of the shirts. Still supporting nonetheless. I love this, Love Sexy 71. I think it's really important that we continue to support Prince and the Prince estate because if we don't, especially when it comes to music, anytime that they release music, we have to vote with our dollars if we're able to, just so we can let the world know that Prince is still very, very important. And also Around the World in a Day is just as important as any other release, in my personal opinion. So while I am disappointed that there weren't any extras, but it's a really interesting era. And actually, that's one of the things that I loved about the Night Child review is he talks about that, like the era and all of that. Okay, Eric, I'm going to do it just for you. Yeah, sexy. I love the Love Sexy button, as you know. Okay, Lady Cab Driver, this is what I'm talking about. So of everything that is being released, I am the most excited about the marble. That marble looks stunning. It looks beautiful. I can't wait to get my hands on this marble vinyl. And I know some of you are like, is marble vinyl. But if you are a collector of vinyl, you'll understand how like this is like, yes, this is amazing. This marble vinyl. So I'm all about the marble vinyl. I'm also really excited about the picture discs. In real time, I loved picture discs. And so I think it's really great that we're getting a picture disc this time around. So I'm all for it. And we got Joy Perry. Welcome. Yes, yes, I'm sure it was electric. I love that. Yes, electric being inside his club was incredible. I can't even imagine. In Minneapolis, amazing, amazing. Yes, we hope to see these at the Minneapolis airport with the store at the terminal. That's what I'm talking about. Let's see. And then, okay. And so Eric is saying, on our Around the Rolling Day Deluxe, but I'm glad I don't have to spend the money. The Parade Super Deluxe is what I really want alongside a gazillion other people. Like since day one, since they started announcing deluxe super deluxes, this is like one of the most vocal requests from the fam is the Parade Deluxe for sure. And let's see what Melvin Rush is saying about love this Melvin Rush second. So much better when we take our time. Exactly. Ooh, I love this. Yeah. So Tambourine Kim is also one of my favorite tracks off Around the Rolling Day. So I can't wait. Okay. So I'm going to talk about this a little bit later, but I'm going to talk about it now. So I was excited, to get the email. We're going to get Around the Rolling Day Deluxe. So before I hit the button, I was like, I wonder what it could be. And then whoever is in charge of the Doors estate, I don't know what they do, but they like, if you're a Doors fan, you're getting something all the time. And as soon as I saw that message about the Around the Rolling Day Deluxe, what did I get? I got a message from the Doors, and they are releasing the Doors' first 6 albums in Atmos for $80. And I was like, oh my God, that's so incredible. Why wouldn't Around the Rolling Day be in Atmos? Because I know that's been a really real push. And then it would have been like extraordinary to hear Around the Rolling Day mix in Atmos. So I hope that eventually that maybe we get that too, because something similar kind of happened with Diamonds and Pearls, where we got the box set or the release first, and then eventually we got the Atmos version. So I'm hoping that we get an Atmos version of Around the Rolling Day, because I just think Around the Rolling Day would be an incredible record to hear in Atmos because of all the little things that are going on in the mix and things of that nature. So Raywin is with me in terms of liking the picture disc. Let's see. Blake Brown is saying, just hoping they're considering leasing or at the very least uploading some full-length rehearsal footage from each album's era in the future. I'm with you, Blake Brown. Live is where it's at. Rehearsals, the sound checks, that's where I live. So I'm with you. And JD is saying, shockingly, I got notification that some of my Around the Rolling Day items shipped today. Interesting. Okay. And Nick Felden said Around the Rolling Day would be my first purchase and will buy the 2 CD deluxe version. I actually, I love just the way that they're treating the CDs, like that they look pretty, and they have the design of that era. So I really like the way this looks. So I'm curious to see what that looks like. Yes, Theo, me and you both. Wish we could have gone to Glam Slam. I'm telling you, Glam Slam today. And then we have Parade Deluxe for show. And then Kim is saying, I hope the signals are remastering of all things purple. We definitely need a remastering of all things purple. Love that. Yes, El Michelle, purple vinyl, purple. Oh, it's kind of blue purple marble. I love the mix. It looks amazing. We got Duke Swan, welcome. Let's see. We got LTK in the house, welcome. Purple Cat Confetti is excited about the Raspberry Beret t-shirt. And yes, Raywin, for those of you who don't know, because we might have some newbies in the house, Around the World in a Day was released in 1985, which is actually connected to the year we are talking about on What Did Prince Do This Week, because we are reading Duane Tudahl's book, Prince and the Parade and Sign of the Times Era Studio Sessions, 1985 and 1986. So we are still connected to our theme of the year. And we have Baby Love from Alabama, my fellow Alabamian. Thank you so much for being here. And yes, somebody else, love, 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 love. Gabrielle loves the rehearsals live. Oh, yes, yes. Oh, so Chanel, I don't even look at Bowie's, the releases from Bowie, because they also release a lot of stuff. And I'm a Bowie fan. I actually worked for Bowie, but it's just like, I don't have that much money. So between the Doors and Prince, I'm kind of done when it comes to collecting. But this is so amazing that the Bowie estate did a great box set of his last 5 albums, live versions in chronological order. I too would love to see a similar effort for by the Prince estate with his 5, like any era of Prince. That would be amazing. Okay, so Raywin likes the picture disc of Prince for Around the World in a Day. And let's see. Yes. I don't know. It's something about the Doors estate. Like, they continue to surprise me. I was like, they didn't record that many albums, but they still do things where you're like, oh no, yes, I got to get this. And I'm the same in terms of this new 5, well, actually 6 release, 6 record release, at most release. Not for Prince, but for the Doors, in case you're just tuning in. So Theo's saying, I think this release will help the estate fund the next Super Deluxe that many people and I desire, because it's a well-known album that I think will sell well with the general public. We hope so. And Kim says, Team CD, this go around got the vinyl in 85. I understand. And I love this. Purple Cat Confetti says, I have Duane's and other books in a safe visual archive box to keep clean. I love that. That's what we should be doing. But I do have my books out. And so they will get, a little bit of wear and tear and a little dust. And let's see. So Black Joubert ordered the colored vinyl, but the estate could have added that 1985 Paris concert. Woo! That's what I'm talking about, which is where the America video came from on audio and DVD, Blu-ray, 4K. That is actually an incredible idea. I love this idea. That would have been crazy good. All right. And Melvin Rush is saying, would love to hear a vocal and percussion mix of Around the World today. We got Cynic22 here for Saturday Love. Love this. And Real Line of DJ is looking forward to Bruce Springsteen, Nebraska Electric version release. You got to tell me more, because I'm not, I don't know much about Bruce Springsteen's catalog. So tell me about Nebraska Electric. And then the Boom Boom Box Guru is saying, the boom, I added an extra boom, the Boom Box Guru. Sorry about that. Just glad we're getting remasters of the classics. That's what I'm talking about. I am so happy, Boombox Guru. You're representing some of my friends. Just be happy we're getting remasters. And the sound quality on some of the OG CDs wasn't the best. And let's see. And then Cynic22 is saying America Video was a dedicated video shoot, not a concert. And then we have, let's see. So, okay, so we're talking about Rick Springsteen. So let's see. The state needs to learn Springsteen. This past summer, Springsteen put out an 8-album set of unreleased albums, and his people noticed he recorded an electric version of Nebraska. Amazing. Okay. Yes, I'm thinking of the Boom Boom Room from Chris Rock. Okay. And thank you so much, Theo, for helping me. I need all the help I can get because I'm so social media illiterate. So thank you so much for letting everyone know to make sure you hit that like button if you haven't. I really appreciate it. And Real Line DJ is telling us it was recorded, the Bruce Springsteen in 1982 with E Street. Okay, so let's move forward with what did Prince do this week. We're going week to week, not date to date. And we can follow the detailed schedule at this bit.ly link or QR code. You do not need let me make myself the expanded edition, but this has 50 extra pages. It's the paperback version. The hardbook version is the first pressing. So if you want to have the latest and greatest, I love this. Hit the like button, like rubbing the stump at the Apollo. That's right. Love that. Thank you, Kim. Okay. So these will be archived at Paula Solid as well as at M. Dean. And we got to give a shout out to Michael Dean, who can't join us because he's getting his music on. So he's gone to see, if I remember correctly, Raphael Sadiq. So amazing. And we want to make sure that we please subscribe, you like, and you help spread the word about what did Prince do this week so that we can get more people to read Duane's books to discover how hardworking Prince really was, how prolific Prince was, and all that jazz. Okay. I love this too. So thank you. I love it. You guys are coming this week with why you need to hit the like button. The button is the one. Love it. So if you got some music on in the background, just hit it on the one. That's right. Okay. This is our hashtag, WDPDTW, for why did Prince do, why? I was going to say, why did Prince dance this weird? Or why do people dance this weird? Or why does Prince dazzle this way? I think was one that Theo offered a long time ago. But it is for what did Prince do this week? And that is our email if you want to send us anything, WDPDTW for what did Prince do this week. And the estate of Prince Rogers Nelson is not affiliated, associated, or connected with the What Did Prince Do This Week book club series. This is an independent endeavor. And I just want to remind everyone of our community guidelines. We choose to be a community even when we disagree. And yes, Duane's books are so important. And it's critical that we get the third one. So we got to show love for the two that we have. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm spending 4 years of my life just so I make sure that hopefully Duane will get us the third one in the series for sexy. That's the reason why we're doing this, just to be really clear, but also because I love being in community with you, but also because I love Duane's books. They are amazing. And we definitely want to support and keep the word out about his books. Now, we started off the top of the hour with Aren't We Us from the 2017 amazing album, No Words, by Eric Leeds and Paul Peterson. And I call that LP music. And you can see that this particular track, which is one of my favorites off of this, probably top 3, composed by Eric Leeds, produced by Eric Leeds and Paul Peterson. And then you have the rest of the players. And yes, love this. Why did Prince dazzle the world? That's right. And let's see. Duane is making sure he's getting his facts right. I guess that's why the third book is taking a while. Yes, it takes a long time to write anything, and definitely a book of the size that Duane has. And I don't know if you remember, but when he was advertising the first book, which I have here, it basically took him 20 years to get this book because he was interviewing so many people, and it takes a while to do that. So, okay. Yes, I am so ready, especially if, oh my goodness, I am going to be like, you think I'm like bouncing off the walls now? I'm going to be hitting that love sexy button almost every second. I can't wait. So I'm hoping that we are going to get an 87, 88, maybe 89 book because, you got to get a little Batman in there too, maybe, but we'll see. Let's see. And we got LTK. I love to hear stories from the Love Sexy tour, but I guess the book would be about the recording of the album. No, the books are about the tours too. Like if you've been, I know you're actually more recent listener or reader, but actually the beginning of, I think, was it? Are we still? Yeah. Beginning of this year, we were still on tour and we were talking about the tours almost daily. And then obviously at the end of last year, there was a lot of tour stuff. So there's always a lot of tour stuff. Love this. Thank you so much for, I need some hydration. All right. Okay. And then I'm also very excited that we have a guest today. I think that's another reason why I'm very excited about today, because I can't wait to talk to Ayo about her amazing book. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Well, we're going to be talking about Sign the Times in this book, because this is, so Parade and Sign the Times era, maybe a little bit of Sign the Times, but we're going to cover Sign the Times here. But Love Sexy and Black Album, and hopefully love this Blade Brown. Love this Blade Brown. 89 is a must on the strength of Arms of Orion alone. That's right. Yes, so Andre, that's the reason why. And sometimes Duane watches these, that I'm putting in the work to try to get the third book to be. Yes, sexy. Because if Duane wanted to, because remember, this book covers 83 and 84. So if he wanted to, he could go the other way and do the precursor of this book. But I am trying to persuade Duane that it's the way to go. Move forward. So that's what we're going to try. And then we do hope for that to be the fourth book. Yes. Because I want this too. Because Controversy is actually my favorite album. But that's just me. Oh, thank you so much. It's just, I don't even know where I got this shirt, but I've been wearing it a lot lately just to keep my spirits up. And it literally says, Prince music saved me, because it did. So I'm trying to keep my focus on positivity and positive things. And so I've been wearing this a lot, but I can't remember where I got it from. And yes, all the Arms of Orion people, raise your hands. That's right. Oh no. Yes. So this is actually important for everyone, Purple Cat Confetti. So Purple Cat Confetti is urging us to take care of our physical archives, because mold can damage paper, and paper in particular can be very fragile. So thank you so much. That's so important. Yes, for sure. We are going to drain the batteries out. And yes, obviously we have Teams of Orion. Well, I mean, so he is, but he's done so much research that he could, if he wanted to, pivot. So it's, nothing's ever guaranteed. So just, that's the reason why we gotta keep being vocal about how important is. All right. Let's see. Oh, 89 would be a book alone with not only, I understand. Yes. But the thing is, it takes so long for Duane to write these books because of the meticulous fact checking that we talked about earlier, getting the facts right and all that, I don't know how many more books he can write, because they take a lot of time. So he needs to be very selective on like the third and hopefully a fourth book. But I totally understand. Yes, 89 could be a book alone, with not only the recording of the Batman album, the Batman set, doing the Graffiti Bridge soundtrack movie, plus the Saturday Night Live performance on the 25th anniversary, for sure. Let's see. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Team Love Sexy Forever. And then let's see. Also, rehearsal for the Nice 85 show has a killer bar band version of Temptation. Okay, So let's keep it moving. Week 37, episode number 140. We've been doing this for 140 weeks straight. And this week, Prince didn't write any songs and he didn't do any studio sessions, which is super rare for Prince. But there was a studio session with Peggy McCreary for edits for Screams of Passion on Monday. And then a very important interview with Prince, like one of the most important, from Rolling Stone magazine, Prince Talks, is released on Thursday, on the 12th. So because we don't have a lot to read today, I'm going to read a little bit from the Rolling Stone magazine, especially for those of you who may not have lived it in real time. And I love this. You're absolutely right, Kim. Prince is making a movie this week. And for those of you who may not know what that movie is, it is Under the Cherry Moon. Prince is in the south of France, filming his second narrative film after Purple Rain. And it's my favorite Prince film. So I'm very excited. So, let's see. All right. So on, again, Monday, Screams of Passion. And this is actually the work order from Sunset Sound. And in Duane's book, it says Monday, September 9th, 1985, The Screams of Passion, insert edits, Sunset Sound, Studio 3, 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Booked 7 p.m. to open. Producer Prince, artist The Family, engineer Peggy Mac Leonard, assistant engineer Mike Cluster. Peggy Mac oversees a brief edit for The Family's The Screams of Passion. At the end of the session, a single C60 tape is made for Prince. And you can see that there on the work order. Okay, and we got Purple Yoda Princess joining us from H-Town. Let's see. Eric, I love this. Eric wonders if it bothered Prince to not write and record even one song for a whole week. It bothers me. I would think that it would bother him, but he was probably so immersed in the filming. Maybe, I don't know, but I could see like that's something that he always does. So I'm sure it kind of bothered him. Thank you so much, Chanel, because I don't know if you want to see these or not. So it's nice to get feedback. So thank you so much, Chanel. Really appreciate it. And yes, of course, Prince's brain never stopped. He was always cooking up ideas. Yes, Kim. So Kim understands. So let's move forward, because this is what we want to talk about today, is this Rolling Stone magazine, Prince Talks, The Silence is Broken. This was a huge deal in real time. We did not have social media back then, and we had to wait to get information, and magazines was one of those ways. And Prince had stopped talking to the press, and so this was huge. Prince Talks, The Silence is Broken. And whoops, went too fast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a little bit from this issue. And this is actually my original copy. Oh, I wanted to talk about that, EA. So if you notice, this always bugged me because I guess Prince did not want to be photographed. I don't even know why Prince didn't send them like a photo. Like he could have sent them like a Jeff Katz photo or something. I don't know. But this is basically a screen grab of the Raspberry Beret video, which is the cover. So that's the reason why it looks kind of, I don't know, weird in terms of just image quality, because it's literally like a screen grab. And yes. So, but the one thing I do love about this cover is just like the hot peach or whatever color this is. And this was $1.95. And this was issue number 456. And it was September 12th, 1985. All right. So let me go here And let me show you what the spread looks like. I'm sure something's going to fall out because I always kept all the inserts and things. No, okay, it's so this is the main spread here. Hopefully you can see it. Yeah, you can see it. It says Prince Talks. And then you have like another image of Prince from the TV screen. Okay, so I'm not going to read all of it because it's quite long. And this is by Neil Carlin. The interview was done and the article was written by Neil Carlin, who also wrote a book about Prince called This Thing Called Life. All right, so John Nelson turned 69 today. And all the semi-retired piano man wants for his birthday is to shoot some pool with his firstborn son. He's really handy with a cue, says Prince, laughing as he threads his old white T-bird through his old black neighborhood toward his old man's house. He's so cool. This is Prince talking. The man knows what time it is. Hard time is how life has traditionally been clocked in North Minneapolis. This is the place time forgot 12 years ago when the magazine's cover trumpeted the good life in Minnesota. I wonder if that has anything to do with the Good Life song that we're going to be talking about from Exodus, but okay. Alongside a picture of Governor Wendell Anderson holding up a walleye. Though tame and middle class by Watts and Roxbury standards, the North Side offers some of the few mean streets in town. The old sites bring out more Babbitt than badass in Prince as he leads a leisurely tour down the main streets of his inner city, Gopher Prairie. He cruises slowly, respectfully, stopping completely at red lights, flicking on his turn signal even when no one's at an intersection. Gone is the wary kung fu grasshopper voice with which Prince whispers when meeting strangers or accepting Academy Awards. Cruising peacefully with the window down, he's proof in a paisley jumpsuit that you can always go home again, especially if you never really left town. Tooling through the neighborhood, Prince speaks matter-of-factly of why he toured with early interviewers about his father and mother, their divorce, and his adolescent wanderings between the homes of his parents, friends, and relatives. This is Prince. I used to tease a lot of journalists early on because I wanted them to concentrate on the music and not so much on me coming from a broken home. I really didn't think that was important. What was important was what came out of my system that particular day. I don't live in the past. I don't play my old records for that reason. I make a statement, then move on to the next. So I'm going to skip some down, and then this is Prince still talking. There's where my mom lives. He says nonchalantly, nodding toward a neatly trimmed house and lawn. My parents live very close by each other, but they don't talk. My mom's the wild side of me. She's like that all the time. My dad's real serene. It takes some music to get him going. My father and me, we're one and the same. A wry laugh. He's a little sick, just like I am. And so it goes on as he gives a tour to Neil Carlin through his old neighborhood. And then it goes into the interview. And we will get back to this because we have our special guests and I do not want to keep them waiting. So that was a little bit of a tease, and we'll come back to Prince Talks a little bit later. So I am very, very excited to bring to the stage Dr. Pamela Ayo Yetunde. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for the invitation. It's good to see you.
Yes, of course. I'm going to switch you around here. Okay. So we are so excited that we are here to talk about your new book, Dearly Beloved, Prince Spirituality and This Thing Called Life. And we actually, let me see if I can find it. We have someone in the chat. Let me see if I can find it really quick, called Real Line the DJ, that actually has your book as their avatar. So they are very, very excited that you are here today.
Thank you.
Yes, as am I. So talk to us first, before we get to the book. We always like to talk a little bit about your Prince origin stories. So how did Prince get into your life? Like, when did that happen? And also, not only like what age you were, but like what city were you living in? Because then, music was very regional. So can you talk a little bit about your Prince origin story?
Oh yeah, I'm excited to talk about it because it's so meaningful to me. So I grew up in Indianapolis, Indiana. I listened to WTLC. That was considered the Black radio station in Indianapolis. I was in high school, and they played Prince. And I mean, just what else can I say? The brilliance. I'd like to think that I have good taste in music. And so the brilliance of Prince appeared. And then I don't know if it was the DJ or what was being said in the community that Prince was playing all of the instruments, which then made my interest in him much more intriguing. And I was in awe, really. I'd never heard of an artist playing all the instruments on their album. So that's where I was. That was probably, let's see, when this first album come out, 78.
Mm-hmm.
And I was 16.
Oh, wow. Amazing. So you were there from day one.
I think it was day one.
Yes. Yes. You were there from day one. So talk to us about how did your love of Prince, as a teen, get you to writing this magnificent book about Prince?
Thank you. Thank you so much for that, D'Angela. Well, so 16, I hear Prince on the radio. Age 55 or thereabouts, I'm teaching at a seminary, United Theological Seminary of the Twin Cities in Minneapolis, or St. Paul. Before I moved there, I was living in Atlanta. And so, if you know anything about Atlanta and the Twin Cities are like comparing apples and oranges. And I was trying to figure out, how is it that I'm going to be happy living in the Twin Cities, as cold as it is and as white as people said it is, though it is not. I just want to bust that myth right there. So I was thinking, oh, I know why I'm going to be happy there, because Prince is from there. Okay, so there must be something good going on in the Twin Cities because Prince is from there. Then after starting my teaching position, I was teaching interreligious chaplaincy. The president of the school at the time, shortly after I got there, asked me, why would anyone come to our little, not well-known seminary over the bigger and more well-known seminaries in the area? And I just blurted it out without second thought, because we can do the theology of Prince at this little liberal seminary. And he paused, and the marketing person in the room paused, and we sat in silence for a moment. And then he asked, well, what would that mean? What does that mean to do the theology of Prince? And I said, I don't know. Let me get back with you. Longer story short, we did a theology of Prince project at the school. After I left the school, people asked.
What year was this approximately?
2017, 2018. We published the Theology of Prince journal, which is still available online. And then after I left the school in 2020, and I would tell people what I did at United, I'd say, oh, I taught this, we did this, I directed the interreligious chaplaincy program, and we did this Theology of Prince project, and blah, 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 blah. And they'd say, wait, hold up, what? You did what? The Theology of Prince? Tell me more about that. You need to write a book about that. And so eventually that's what became of that journey, Dearly Beloved.
So I get a lot of people telling me that I should do X and X. Mm-hmm. So just because someone tells you that you should write a book about Prince doesn't necessarily mean that you would actually follow through on that. So what actually made you follow through on writing this book after hearing people tell you that you should write this book?
Right. And I agree with you 100%. Just because people say you should do something doesn't mean you should do it. And as a matter of fact, I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to write a book about Prince, because we did the Theology of Prince project in 2017, 2018. We did a journal, which is still available. So I feel like my work is done. Thank you very much. But then I got invited to Collegeville Institute, which is a writing retreat. Actually, I'm here right now, which is a writing retreat in Collegeville, Minnesota, on St. John's campus. And I said, well, if I go, I'm going back to Minnesota. I should think about what people said I should do. So I took all of my Prince paraphernalia, my Prince candles, bobbleheads, CD covers, all of that, my books, and I said, I will ask, through listening to Prince day in and day out, from first thing in the morning to the last thing in the evening, is there anything else that I feel that I need to say about Prince and his theology that I didn't already say, that hasn't already been said, that could only be said by someone who's taught chaplaincy and pastoral counseling. And so then after that period of time, I said, yeah, maybe there's something else. I put it in a book proposal. And then I asked myself, what would Prince want me to say and want me to do with this book proposal? And I said, I never met Prince. I never talked to Prince, but I think he would want me to submit it to a Minnesota publisher because he loved Minnesota so much. And so I did that. That's Broadleaf Books. And so, yeah, that's why I decided to write something that I initially said I did not want to write.
Now, I'm really happy that you brought up the publisher. And I didn't know that Broadleaf was actually based in Minnesota. But as you know, there are a lot of Prince books out there.
Yes.
And I love your book because the pages feel so good. I know this sounds silly, but as an avid reader, like sometimes there's something about the paper stock, or maybe the font is too small, or it's just like, I love the way that it feels. I actually love the color of the pages. They're not white. They're like an off-white ivory kind of color. And the type isn't too small. And I love the margins. It's just like, I was like, this publisher was really on point and is really dedicated to readers, because like sometimes you get books and like you can't even like, and I love that you can almost lay it flat almost too. Because like some books are really hard to read because like they kind of like in the middle, they kind of buckle and all of that. So how did you settle on the title of Dearly Beloved, and were there alternates before deciding on this? Can you share?
Yeah. So I will give your feedback to the publisher, because I even questioned whether, why hardback? A lot of people don't buy hardback books. They're more expensive and so on. And they said, well, we think that this book is something that people will want to keep. So I'm like, from your lips to God's ears, may that be so.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm glad you said that, because I love also just the rain. It looks like rain to me.
That's the point.
Of the hardcover, and it's really beautiful just without the sleeve that you get with the book. This is like really beautiful. And also this really stands out on a bookshelf, Dearly Beloved, with just the contrast. So I think they did an amazing job with all of the design choices that were made for your book.
Thank you. I will let them know that. Now the title. I was convinced of my original title. I thought my original title really speaks to Prince. And I still think that, but whether it's marketable or not is another matter. So the original the title that I proposed was The Preacher in the Boudoir. Right?
I like that.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I did too. I still do. But they said, but isn't Dearly Beloved more evocative? And I said, yeah, it is.
I don't know if it's more evocative. I think that your title is more evocative, but I do think that this title will definitely give you current Prince fans, as well as people who aren't really huge fans, but that everybody knows Dearly Beloved. Right. We're gathered, so I think it gives you more recognition. And I think probably more people a broader swath of people would pick this book up just based off of Dearly Beloved. But I do think that your title is more your original title was more provocative.
Mm-mm. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Yes, I love this from Kim. Kim says that original title sounds scandalous.
Right. And wasn't he?
Yes, exactly. Yes. Yes, I think that Prince would have liked that original title personally. I really love that. So now you cover a lot in this book, and there's so many songs. You know, I'm going to go back. So this morning, prepping for your visit, you were on a Chicago TV station. You did an interview, and I watched that interview, and one of the anchors was a little bit annoying me because they just could not believe that Prince was spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, he obviously hasn't listened to Prince's music,
Mm-hmm.
or he wouldn't be so amazed. So how do you have those kinds of and you were very calm, like you just, like went along. I don't have a poker face sometimes, so I don't think I could have done what you did in that regard. So how do you talk to people who think that Prince is just about sex, that he wasn't
Mm-hmm.
spiritual? How do you engage with those people?
Yeah, I think for me, maybe the difference between you and me in this regard is that I've had a lot of practice talking about Prince's theology, Prince as a theologian. Look at Prince's music. So starting in 2017, right? Even when I blurted out, because we can do the theology of Prince. So for what, 8 years I've been talking about it. So it's practice. I expect that people will not understand initially, and so I'm patient in that regard. And but almost always everyone is intrigued.
Yes, yes. So one of the things that I absolutely love about your book, and I actually haven't seen this in any other Prince book, but there's so many Prince books out there that maybe I've missed it. But at the beginning of each one of your chapters, and I will make my, you may or may not be able to see this, but basically Ayo has a playlist for you to play, to listen along before the chapter begins. And I really thought that that was absolutely brilliant, to, start off each chapter with what you have here as a listen along. So can you talk a little bit about how you came, or was that originally a part of how you wanted to structure the book? Can you talk about that?
I can. So in part of my writing process, I do a, what do you call it? Stream of consciousness. Sort of right before I get into the editing of it and before it's edited by others and so on. And so in my stream of consciousness writing, I would include lyrics in my draft, Prince's lyrics, which of course I don't have the right to publish, right? But in my draft, I can. So then as the publisher and the editor and I began looking at the draft, it was actually her idea to put the songs at the top. And I said, "Oh, I love that idea."
It's a great idea.
Yeah, I love that idea because one, well, for the various obvious reasons. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Now, not only do you start each chapter with like a song list, but I think what separates your books from all the other Prince books is that way that you end each chapter. And you end each chapter with a section called practices. How can you like practice this in your own life? And I also thought that that was like, I was like, when I first started reading this, I was like, oh my God, this like song list is amazing. But then when I got to the practices, I was like, oh, I just like mic drop. So talk to us about the practices and why they are important to your book.
Right, right. So I love this question. So because it takes me back to the memory of being actually where I am right now, Collegeville Institute, where I was writing the book proposal and asking myself, what would Prince want me to say that I haven't said already? And, this is all speculation, conjecture. I have no idea. But I do truly believe, having examined his lyrics, the ones that I know about, that he was serious about religion. He was serious about living an ethical life. He was serious about justice making. He was serious about anti-racism, serious about these things. And so, since he firmly believed, according to my reading, that we have a choice before us, we can choose to live in paradise forever, or we can choose to live a life of hell forever. For readers who are interested in that choice and interested in transformation and changing their lives, as a practical theologian who focuses on practices, let's take Prince very seriously. Let's take his music very seriously. Let's take his mission very seriously, and put those thoughts, those values, that concern into thought and behavior, to live in such a way that whether you believe in any of this, you have a chance of improving your life and the lives around you by engaging in these practices.
Thank you for that.
With Prince as a guide.
Yes, yes, I love that. That is so incredible. Now, talk to us about how did you choose the songs? Because, you know, Prince had pretty much a 40-year career and lots of songs. I mean, thousands of songs that you could have chosen for this particular book. So how did you go about choosing the songs that you would concentrate on?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So at the time I wrote it. So, you know, books come out usually 2 years or longer after you submit your final draft. I just went through the songs that I had access to at the time. And so I grew up in the United Methodist Church. And so I have that exposure to United Methodist Protestant theology practices, teachings, and so on. I've also attended Quaker meetings, Lutheran Church, Episcopal Church, and as a Buddhist practitioner, I'm also familiar with, somewhat familiar with Hindu teachings, and that's why I could resonate with the Kama Sutra in his work. So I just listened to those songs and had already done that in 2017, 2018 with the Theology of Prince project, but then I listened to them again. I don't know how many times I've listened to these songs. And then each time I pick up something that maybe I didn't get the first time. And I'm thinking, if I'm listening this closely and still picking up on new stuff, I bet you there are people who this art has just gone right over their heads. So I decided to choose songs that have the very obvious religious themes and some that are not obvious, and also songs that have strong vulgar tendencies as well, because I think that is all part of the body of work of Prince.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Now, usually when you're writing a book, and I hear from most authors that usually the editing process is where the book is really made. So like in terms of editing this book, did you like take out chapters? Did you remove songs for any particular reason? I'm just curious, like what was your process like? And then, and also how long did it take you to actually, go from submitting the proposal to, turning in your final draft to your publisher?
Right. No song is off limits. And so I put the warning at the beginning of the book. Explicitly spiritual and explicitly sexual. In every book proposal, when it's accepted, the contract states how many pages the book will be. So I just tried to stay within that limit. I don't recall anything being taken out. I'm sure there were things that were taken out, but it wasn't because of the content wasn't relevant. It wouldn't have been for that. It would have been for space, a little bit of space. Yeah, I think you had a follow-up question too. Now I don't remember.
Yeah, it was just, you actually answered my follow-up question in the beginning, which was like, how long did, I think.
Oh, how long?
I
Okay.
just didn't.
Yeah. Um, 2 years
Mm,
from submitting the proposal to publication.
that's impressive.
Well, thank you. However, remember that
Yeah,
I already did the Theology of Prince project in
right,
2017, 2018. So this wasn't new material for me.
right,
Yeah.
right. No, that makes a lot of sense for
Mhm.
sure. Now, I know that you're doing the circuit in terms of book fairs and doing the promotional circuit. And
Mhm.
when you've been hearing from readers, what kind of responses have you been getting? Like, what kind of revelations are readers getting from reading this book? And
Yeah.
before you answer that, I think it's really important for a lot of us, we live in Prince bubbles, meaning we talk to other Prince fans a lot. And I think it's so important to talk to people who are not in the Prince bubble, who
Mhm.
maybe know a Prince casually, to expand, Prince's base of what he accomplished on this earth, because he accomplished so much. And I find that a lot of people don't know the full breadth of who
Mhm.
Prince was and is. And I think that your book really contributes to giving a more fuller picture of who Prince was to like the non-Prince people, as I call
Mhm.
them. So can you talk to us about what the reception has been like for your book as you travel, across the country promoting it?
Yeah, and I agree with you. So part of my objective in writing a book that I didn't want to write
Mhm,
because I felt I had already done it was because the publisher asked, when you write a book proposal, there's a marketing section, and they want you to basically argue why they should invest in publishing your book. And I said, because people still don't understand Prince.
mhm.
We're
That's
still listening to Prince. You can go to a coffee shop, you can be in a store, you can be anywhere, and it's very likely you're going to hear a Prince song and still don't know what his body of work was about.
mhm,
So why does that like annoy me? It annoys me as a theologian uh, that that people don't know. It is the I'm going to put it this way. It counts. It's a little. Well, I'll just say it. It is a theologian's sacred obligation to explicate the theologians out there that we don't know about.
mhm.
And I feel like I don't know Prince. I wrote a book, but I still don't know who Prince was. But I know this much that this mm, brilliant, that's not, it's almost like an understatement to
Mhm,
say brilliant,
mhm,
brilliant, exceptional uh, artist, freedom fighter,
mhm,
freedom fighter.
mhm.
Um, we're just bopping to his music as if it's just pop,
Mm,
and it's not.
no.
And I feel that's an injustice to him.
Mhm.
And I want to do my part. So this is my little part, my little contribution.
Yeah. It's really so important. Like, I'm so grateful that you did heed the call and write this book, because it really makes you think a little deeper about some of Prince's most well-known pop songs in terms of, again, the general public and maybe other readers who are not immersed in the Prince world like a lot of us are here in this weekly podcast, because we're reading another book. We're reading Duane Tudahl's book, which is Prince in the Studio Sessions, and we've been reading this like week by week for the past year. And then prior to that, his first book, and really taking seriously, everything that Prince recorded in the studio, but also his touring and things of that nature. And this is just another dimension of Prince. And I think it's really important that you can supplement the reading of Duane's book with Dr. Yetunde's book. So I think, I hope that a lot of you, let me go a little bit bigger. I hope that a lot of you will actually go and pick this book up. And I remember I made some banners. So you can, this is, Ayo's Instagram, but from the Instagram, if you go, you know how Instagram works, you can get to her website, which is just Pamela, is it PamelaYetunde.com?
Pamela Ayo Yetunde.
PamelaAyoYetunde.com. And I had that and I removed it. and the book is Dearly Beloved, Prince Spirituality and This Thing Called Life. Definitely pick it up. It's so very important because I think that we can all grow personally, obviously learn more about Prince, but also just because of, you know, the practices that you have at the end of each chapter is, I mean, I was really moved by some of them, and I think they can be really useful now more than ever. And I love this comment from Mira. Prince is the best pastor of all time.
All
Love
right,
that.
Mira. Yeah.
Yes. So Kim wants to know, are you coming to Atlanta?
Yes.
Do you know when? Like,
no, I don't know.
Okay, but you are.
But if you have something in mind, please reach out and let me know.
Yes.
I'm in Atlanta quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Yes, Kim, like if you can recommend any venues, that'd be really good. That way I can forward them to Ayo. Look at, here we go. Theo just purchased a copy of the book. That's what I'm talking about. Love that. And EA says, we'll purchase the hardcover book a couple of weeks ago. I picked up the digital version.
Thank you.
That's amazing, EA. And so what do you want people to take away after reading this?
Yeah, I think there may be two takeaways at the moment, because I could go on and on. Okay, I'm trying to keep it short.
Yeah.
One is that Prince wanted his listeners, and maybe those who didn't listen to him, to have the ability to resolve their internal conflicts and know that they were dearly beloved. And that's why I said, okay, let's go with that title. The other thing I want people to take away from is that, you know, Prince was a human being who experienced grief and loss and mourning and searching. He's seemingly, just looking at his lyrics, and something I call theolyricology, he went from being rather expansive in his theology from the beginning, but rather narrow near the end. And so I want to leave you all thinking about your own grief and your own losses and mourning, and the ways that you reach out for stability and healing, and to reflect on, you know, whether you're going from expansiveness to narrowness, back and forth, but just to pay attention to what's going on, because it will also impact your relationships as well. And so those are the things that I want to leave with folks today. And then lastly, the most important maybe is just my gratitude to you, to Angela, to everyone here. Thank you so much for this time. I really appreciate all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. So I really wish, so we have multiple co-hosts. Normally I have people with me, and one of the people who normally joins me is Celie McGinnis. And Celie McGinnis wrote a book called The Lyrics of Prince. And it would just be so amazing for you two to have a conversation together. So I'm hoping that one day you would be willing to come back, especially after some of our listeners have had an opportunity to read your book, since several of them are purchasing the book as we speak. And thank you so much for all of you who have done so already. We really appreciate that. But if you could come back and have a conversation with Celie, and if you don't know Celie, you're in for a treat.
Okay. All right. Yes, I would be happy to. I would be honored. Yeah.
That would be really, really incredible. So thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for taking the time out to write this amazing book and for sharing it with us. And we'll love to have you back whenever your schedule permits and when Celie's schedule also aligns.
Thank you.
All right.
Take care, everybody. Be safe. Yeah.
Bye. Okay. So we are so grateful for Dr. Yetunde for joining us. Yes, it would be so awesome if Celie would have been here, but it'll just be another opportunity to bring Ayo back on. We're so grateful for Ayo for coming on and promoting her amazing book, Dearly Beloved Prince, Spirituality, and this thing called Life, because reading is important because we are reading another amazing book, as you know, Duane's book. All right, and I am going to go back to reading a little bit, not a lot, from our Rolling Stone Prince Talks, because I wanted to read just a little bit from the actual interview itself. So give me 1 second to find my page again. Okay, so this is from the interview, and it starts off with, "Why have you decided that now is the time to talk?" And Prince says, "There have been a lot of things said about me, and a lot of them are wrong and continue to be wrong for that matter. There have been a lot of contradictions. I don't mind criticism. I just don't like lies." I think this is a really important thing, especially for us in this day and age. Prince literally says, "I don't mind criticism." And I think that's where sometimes there can be um, a little tenseness when you can be critical without being mean, especially when you're talking about the work and not about people directly. And Prince does say, "I don't mind criticism. I just don't like lies. I feel I've been very honest in my work and my life, and it's hard to tolerate people telling so many barefaced lies." And then Neil Carlin asks, "Do you read most of what's written about you?" "A little, not much. Sometimes someone will pass along a funny one. I just wrote a song called Hello, which is going to be the flip side of pop life. It says at the end, life is cruel enough without cruel words." I get a lot of cruel words. A lot of people do. "I saw critics be so critical of Stevie Wonder when he made Journey Through the Secret Life of Plants. Stevie has done so many great songs, and for people to say you missed, don't do that, go back. Well, I would never say, Stevie Wonder, you missed." Prince puts the Wonder album on the turntable, plays a cut, then puts on Miles Davis's new album. Or Miles. Critics are going to say, Miles done went off. Why say that? Why even tell Miles he went off? If you don't like it, don't talk about it. Go buy another record. Not long ago, I talked to George Clinton, a man who knows and has done so much for funk. George told me how much he liked Around the World in a Day. How much more his words mean than those from some mamma jamma wearing glasses and an alligator shirt behind a typewriter. Neil asks, "Do you hate rock critics? Do you think they're afraid of you?" Laughs. "No, it's no big deal. Hey, I'm afraid of them. One time early in my career, I got into a fight with a New Yorker writer, this little skinny cat, a real sidewinder. He said, 'I'll tell you a secret, Prince. Writers write for other writers, and a lot of time it's more fun to be nasty.' I just looked at him, but when I really thought about it and put myself in his shoes, I realized that's what he had to do. I could see his point. They can do whatever they want, and me too. I can paint whatever picture I want with my albums, and I try to instill that in every act I've ever worked with." What picture were you painting with Around the World in a Day? I've heard some people say I'm not talking about anything on this record. And what a lot of other people get wrong about the record is that I'm not trying to be this great visionary wizard. Paisley Park is in everybody's heart. It's just not something that I have the keys to. I was trying to say something about looking inside oneself to find perfection. Perfection is in everyone. Nobody's perfect, but they can be. We may never reach that, but it's better to strive than not. And then Neil Carlin says, "Sounds religious." As far as that goes, let me tell you a story about Wendy. We had to fly somewhere at the beginning of the tour, and Wendy is deathly afraid of flying. She got on the plane and really freaked. I was scared for her. I tried to calm her down with jokes, but it didn't work. I thought about it and said, "Do you believe in God?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Do you trust him?" And she said she did. Then I asked, "So why are you afraid to fly?" She started laughing and said, Okay. Flying still bothers her a bit, but she knows where it is and doesn't get freaked. It's just so nice to know there's someone in someplace else. And if we're wrong and I'm wrong and there is nothing, then big deal. But the whole life I just spent, I at least had some reason to spend it. Then Neil asks, when you talk about God, which God are you talking about? The Christian God, Jewish, Buddhist? Is there any God in particular you have in mind? Yes, very much so. A while back, I had an experience that changed me and made me think differently about how and what I wrote and how I acted toward people. I'm going to make a film about it. Not the next one, but the one after that. This is a really key thing that Prince said. Again, I'm going to reread that just so you can realize what he's saying. I had an experience that changed me and made me think differently about how and what I wrote and how I acted toward people. I'm going to make a film about it. Not the next one, which would be On the Cherry Moon, but the one after that. I've wanted to make it for 3 years now. Don't get me wrong, I'm still as wild as I was. I'm just funneling it in a different direction. And now I analyze things so much that sometimes I can't shut my brain off, and it hurts. That's what that movie will be about. What was the experience that changed you? I don't really want to go into it specifically. During the Dirty Mind period, I would go into fits of depression and get physically ill. I would have to call people to help me get out of it. I don't do that anymore. Then he goes on and asks, what were you depressed about? How you get over it? I'm not going to read Prince's responses to that because this is actually very long. But then he asks, do you believe in heaven? I think there is an afterworld. For some reason, I think it's going to look just like here, but that's part. I don't really like talking about this stuff. It's so personal. Does it bother you when people say you're going back in time with Around the World in a Day? No. What they say is that the Beatles are the influence. The influence wasn't the Beatles. They were great for what they did, but I don't know how that would hang today. The cover art came about because I thought people were tired of looking at me. Who wants another picture of him? I would only want so many pictures of my woman, then I would want the real thing. What would be a little more happening than just another picture would be if there was some way I could materialize in people's cribs when they play the record. How do you feel about people calling the record psychedelic? I don't mind that because that was the only period in recent history that delivered songs in colors. Led Zeppelin, for example, would make you feel differently on each song. Does your fame affect your work? A lot of people think it does, but it doesn't at all. I think the smartest thing I did was record Around the Rolling Day right after I finished Purple Rain. I didn't wait to see what would happen with Purple Rain. That's why the two albums sound completely different. People think, oh, the new album isn't half as powerful as Purple Rain or 1999. You know how easy it would have been to open Around the World in a Day with the guitar solo that's on the end of Let's Go Crazy? You know how easy it would have been to just put it in a different key? That would have shut everybody up who said the album wasn't half as powerful. I don't want to make an album like the earlier ones. Wouldn't it be cool to be able to put your albums back to back and not get bored, you dig? And this is one of the things that I love about Prince. Like every album was different. So he was really true to this idea. I don't know how many people can play all their albums back to back with each one going to different cities. Then he talks, the questions that are asked are, what do you think about the comparisons between you and Jimi Hendrix? I'm not going to read that. Are there any current groups you listen to or to a lot or learn from? Then Neil Carlin says, people seem to think you live in an armed monastery that you built in honor of yourself. Then he asks about friends. Are you afraid to ask your friends to come by? Does it bother you that strangers make pilgrimages to your house? And then it goes on. Hold on one second. I have to go to page 84. Give me 1 second. Almost. I don't think. I might not be able to find it. Ooh. Okay. Well, I did something in here that I didn't realize. Someone said I had a pristine copy, but in real time, I cut something out. I don't know what I cut out, but I cut something out. So that's interesting for myself. And while I'm looking for it, while I'm looking for it, there's actually a review of Prince and the Revolution Live in the video news and notes section. It's very short, so I will read it. And they also review Private Dancer Tour, which was released on video for Tina Turner, as well as Ain't That America by John Cougar Mellencamp, as well as The Cars Live, 1984 to 1985. This is what they have. The Rolling Stones magazine says about Prince and the Revolution Live. Warner Music Video, and it was $29.98, which was a lot of money back then for this video. Rarely has a performer had more fun with his audience. Prince speaks to the crowd as if it were a combination sex toy and pet, but he's fighting low production values all the way through. Because the performance wasn't restaged and relit like the Sign of the Times Live, and that's one of the reasons why I love the Sign of the Times Live, because it just looks so good because it was relit and restaged. What happens in Prince and the Revolution Live is inevitable. The star, no matter how big, gets lost in the dark corners of the stage. Choppy cutting undermines Prince's dramatic stage movements, and a performance that should have excited everybody turns out to be a tape best seen by hardcore fans. Prince is hot, and that's italicized, but he can't carry the whole show by himself. Tunes like Purple Rain, Delirious, Little Red Corvette, 1999, and Let's Go Crazy are superbly performed. Rent this one to see some music history, but try Purple Rain for more exciting concert footage, meaning Purple Rain, the film. So they were not a big fan of Prince and the Revolution Live, which is interesting. Okay. Let me see if I can find the rest of this interview. I may not be able to find it because the page it said it was on, it's not on. Let's see. Okay, here we go. It's all the way in the back. And then another thing that Neil Carlin asks, it's not just people outside your door who think you're a wild sexual person. Then he asks, does it make you angry when people dig into your background, when they want to know about your sexuality and things like that? And then he goes on and asks, how do you feel when you go to New York or LA and see the life you could be leading? I'm going to read this one because I think it's really important that I personally think it's really important that Prince stayed in Minneapolis for the most part. Obviously, he had homes in other places like Spain and Canada and all that. But LA, this is Prince. LA is a good place to work. And I liked New York more when I wasn't known, when I wasn't bothered when I went out. You'd be surprised. There are guys who literally chase you through a discotheque. I love that he says discotheque instead of disco. I don't mind my picture being taken if it's done in a proper fashion. It's very easy to say, Prince, may I take your picture? I don't know why people can't be more humane about a lot of things they do. Now when I'm visiting, I like to sneak around and try stuff. I like to sneak to people's gigs and see if I can get away without getting my picture taken. That's fun. That's like cops and robbers. Then it goes into, you've taken a lot of heat for your bodyguards, especially the incident in Los Angeles in which your bodyguard, Chick Huntsberry, reportedly beat up a photographer. I'm not going to read that. He also asked, why isn't Chick working for you anymore? I'm not going to read that. He asks, is it true that Chick is still on the payroll? He responds, yes. Then he asks, what about the expose he wrote about you in the National Enquirer? And I'm not going to read that. You came in for double heat. You came in for double heat over the LA incident because it happened the night of the We're of the World recording. In retrospect, do you wish you had shown up? Prince's response, no. I think I did my part and given my song to the album. This has been my point all along with that We Are the World documentary. He did his part, and Prince thought he did his part. I hope I did my part. I think I did the best thing I could do. Then he asked, you've done food drive concerts for poor people in various cities, given free concerts for handicapped. This is the language. Remember, this is 85. Handicapped kids, and donated lots of money to the Marva Collins Inner City School in Chicago. And this, I'm going to read this because Marva Collins, this relates to the 30 virtual symposium because Marva Collins is in The Most Beautiful World in the Most Beautiful Girl in the World video. So didn't you want to stand up after you were attacked for We Own the World and say, hey, I do my part? And then he says, no, I was never rich, so I have very little regard for money now. I only respect it in as much as it can feed somebody. I give a lot of things away, a lot of presents and money. Money is best spent on someone who needs it. That's all I'm going to say. I don't like to make a big deal about the things I do that way. Then he asks, people think that you're a dictator in the studio, that you want to control everything. In LA, however, I saw Wendy and Lisa mixing singles while you were in Paris. How do you feel about your reputation? And then I'll read this. So it says, my first album I did entirely alone. On the second, I used Andre Simone, my bass player, on Why You Want to Treat Me So Bad. He sang a small harmony part that you really couldn't hear. There was a typo on the record and Andre didn't get any credit. That's how that whole thing started. I tried to explain that to him, but when you're on the way up, there's no explaining too much of anything. People will think what they want to. The reason I didn't use musicians a lot of time had to do with the hours that I worked. I swear to God, it's not out of boldness when I say this, but there's not a person around who can stay awake as long as I can. Music is what keeps me awake. There will be times when I've been working in the studio for 20 hours and I'll be falling asleep in the chair, but I'll still be able to tell the engineer what cut I want to make. I use engineers and shifts a lot of time because when I start something, I like to go all the way through. There are very few musicians who will stay awake that long. Then he asks, do you feel others recognize how hard you work? He says, well, no. A lot of my peers make remarks about us doing silly things on stage and on records. Morris Day, former lead singer of The Time, was criticized a lot for that. What kind of silliness exactly? Everything, the music, the dances, the lyrics. What they fail to realize is that is exactly what we want to do. It's not silliness, it's sickness. Sickness is just slang for doing things somebody else wouldn't do. And he goes on and talks about that. And then another question is, why did Morris say negative things about you after he left the band? I'm not going to read that. He also asks, what sound do you get from different members of the Revolution? I'm not going to read that. He says, how so? And then he asks, what about the other bands, Apollonia, Vanity, Maserati, The Family? What are you trying to express through them? And then he responds, a lot has to do with them. They come to me with an idea and I try to bring that forth. I don't give them anything. I don't say, okay, you're going to do this and you're going to do that. I mean, it was Morris's idea to be as sick as he was. That was his personality. We both liked Don King and got a lot of stuff off him. Why? This is Neil Carlin asking why, because he's outrageous and thinks everything is so exciting, even when it isn't. Another question, people think you control those bands. That is similar to Rick James's relationship with the Mary Jane Girls. A lot of people think he's turning all the knobs. I'm not going to read that. And then he says, after all these years, does the music give you as much of a rush as it used to? And Prince responds, it increases more and more. And that's pretty much, and he goes on about that. And that's pretty much the interview. So I didn't read the entire thing because we would be here all day. And I'm sure my timekeeper is like looking at the watch. But I hope that you got a sense of how important this particular interview truly was in real time. And I know some of you may not have, been there in real time, or you didn't get this particular issue. So I just wanted to read some of it. So let's get back to our slide deck really quickly. I just really want to say, I watched this documentary this week. It's a 2-part documentary. It's executive produced by Issa Rae, called Seen in Her, and it's about Black television and Black television writers. And I know you might say, what does this have to do with Prince? But it's all about ownership. And as you know, Prince was huge about ownership. So if you want to learn a bit more about ownership in the Black community in particular, I think this is a really important doc, and you can tie it to Prince. So highly recommend Seen and Heard. I've already talked to you about this, but I just want you to see it in black and white. So the Doors are releasing 6 studio albums as Atmos Blu-ray for $80. Just think about that. And $80 is a lot of money, but you're getting 6. So just do the math with some of the other releases that I won't go there, but this is a good deal. We talked about this last week, but I want to just give one more plug for Nicolet's album Terra Firma. If you haven't checked it out, please do. It is finally being released on vinyl. I am over the moon that this will be available in vinyl, so you can get that. If you go like to Nicolet's Instagram on, I think it's Nicolet Music, or if you go to the slide deck, which is on the book club website, and you click on the slide deck, everything in the slide deck usually takes you somewhere. And then because we talked to Dr. Yetunde about her amazing book, Dearly Beloved, Prince Spirituality, we were talking a lot about spirituality, I just want to put another plug in for Corey Henry, one of my spiritual teachers. I love the message and what Corey Henry is trying to do through his music, and he just released an amazing album called Divine Time. Have a couple of songs, as well as a song from Nicolet in the accompanying playlist that you can find on my YouTube channel, all the way at the bottom where the playlists are. And then it's getting really soon where Corey Henry is actually going to be in Minneapolis at one of my favorite venues in Minneapolis, the Ice House. And that's going to happen on September 15th, which will be on Monday, if I did my math correctly. So we're excited about that. Everybody and their mama, unless this is your first time watching, should know how much I love me some Bilal, and Bilal is on tour, and Bilal is coming to Philly next week, and I'm very excited about that show. Even though we have a symposium, I'm going to see Bilal, even though I know I'm going to pay for it, but I know that this show is going to give me the energy that I need to make it through the symposium. All right. And so again, September 18th is when Bilal will be in Philly. This is the closest recent show he's going to do here. So he is in Long Beach tonight, and then he's going to Philly, then Annapolis, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Durham, North Carolina, and then Seattle on October 14th. Then he's going to Europe. And then Vernon Reid is going to be at the Blue Note. Vernon actually participated in one of our past virtual symposia, DM40 GB30 for 40 years of Dirty Mind and 30 years of Graffiti Bridge. So he is Purple fam for sure. So please support Vernon Reid and friends. So that means that who knows who's going to show up at the Blue Note. And then remember Bilal, Theo, this is really for you, Michael Dean. Remember, Bilal is going to be performing free at this block party in Seattle on October 4th, in case you don't want to pay, go see him. And then I am ecstatic about this upcoming show at City Winery in New York City. And they're going to play the entire Don Blackman album, that's the cover, in sequence with all of these different guests. Bilal, members of Living Color, I'm sure Vernon will be there as well. And Chris Robb, another Purple fam. This is going to be amazing. October 17th, can't wait. Then my beloved Alice Smith is going to be in Chicago. Again, if I was rolling the dough, I would try to make this show, but gotta be careful because these box sets keep dropping. So we gotta spend money on the music. And then don't forget about the conversation with Jimmy Jam, also at City Winery in New York City on September 26th. And this is what Theo is waiting for. This is what I am waiting for. I can't wait to be in community all day Saturday, all day Sunday on September 20 and 21, which is next weekend. So we will not be here. So if you go to YouTube for What Did Prince Do This Week, we will not be on YouTube. We will be on Zoom events. So what you need to do, if you go to the bit.ly link, bit.ly/30, you can get to the website, or you can use that QR code that you see right there. And you can pre-register on Substack. And then the actual registration will be released on Friday for Zoom events. And even if you can't make it in real time, if you register, you will be able to see the video as soon as the event is over, and we'll be able to do so until the end of the month. And then once I edit the video, I will post it to the YouTube. Yes, I love this, Kim. Yes, start stretching now. because it is going to be all day, every day. So let's actually look again. We did this a while back, but I think we should look at this again really quickly. The schedule at a glance. And hold on, let me share this tab. Okay, there we go. So this is the schedule at a glance. And then obviously speakers and schedules are subject to change because you just never know what's going to happen. So again, all sessions on Zoom events, with the exception of our very special guests, which will happen at the end of each day. So the day is going to start at 9 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday. And then on Saturday, we're going to have the presentation experience with presentations by some of my favorite people. And if you've been to Symposium before, you know this is a do not miss presentation session for Edgar alone. For Edgar alone, Edgar always has amazing presentations. And you also know about Adam Rudiger, who does the amazing presentations about Prince's music. Can't wait for those. And then we also have Chris Bournet, who did an amazing presentation earlier this year about Sheila E. for Pop Life 40. And then we have a new presenter, hopefully Jarrett Lear. So you want, and then if you go up to people with the websites and you click on a person's name and they're presenting, you can see what they will be presenting about. So for Ann Rudiger, he's going to be unwrapping the beautiful experience. And then and then you can also, if you want, just look at the presenters. I'm sorry, I selected the wrong one. Presenters, here we go. So no, I got the right one. And then so you have Edgar here, and Edgar is presenting on Who Thee is Tora Tora. I'm very excited about this one, and so on and so forth. Okay. Then after that, we're going to have our noon interactive experience with What Did Prince Do This Week on Zoom events, not on YouTube. Then we're going to break for lunch for an hour, and that hour is going to fly by. And then we're going to have the 4U crew plus one music snob, and we're going to be talking about Exodus from 2 to 3:30 p.m. And all the times are Eastern time. And then we're going to have a New Power Soul experience and another Exodus roundtable with Michael Dean leading the conversation. Zaire Ali is going to lead the conversation for the first one, and Michael Dean is going to lead the conversation for this one. I am grateful that Prince's friend, Eloy, is going to be joining us. He hasn't joined us in a while, so I'm very excited about that. Law, Big Sexy, Pretty Ricky, TED Talks Base, and Troy Gua. So excited about this. And then we are going to have a very special guest, Morris Hayes. And I have a strange feeling that we might go over the 90 minutes, but we'll see. Depends on Morris's schedule. But I'm so grateful that he wants to talk to us about all things Exodus and the Gold Experience and the Glam Slam 94 birthday. I mean, so much happened during that era. And I am so grateful because I ask so many people and they sometimes say no. So I'm grateful for Mr. Hayes. And then on Sunday, we're going to start off with an International Lovers Experience, which will be a Gold Experience Roundtable. And Casey may or may not be able to join us. He hasn't confirmed yet, so I'm not sure. But we definitely have Jason Draper, who also wrote a book about Prince. And we're going to have our very own What Did Prince Do This Week, Lee Christian. And then we have one of my favorite authors of a Prince book, which is Matt Thorne. I love Matt Thorne is probably my favorite Prince book in terms of all of the books, with the exception, obviously, of Duane's book, because Duane's book is a category by itself. It does not get compared to other books. And then we're also going to have our very own Vanessa from What Did Prince Do This Week. So I'm very excited about that. And Hasit Shah, who's been with us so many times, is going to be moderating that conversation. And I always love hearing from a non-US perspective of Prince, and because they got so much during this era that we didn't get, it's going to be really great to hear from them. And then after that, I am over the moon that Scott Woods can join us as moderator for another presentation panel. And so we're going to have Camila Cummins, my triplet, join us. We're going to have Celie doing a presentation. Luckily, there is no JSU, Jackson State University game. I don't know how, like that was divine intervention. There's no game. So Celie is going to be able to join us. And we're going to have Robert Loss as well as Crystal Wise. I'm very excited about that. Then we're going to break for lunch again for an hour. Then we're going to have the beautiful experience, and that's going to be a Gold Experience Roundtable with the lovely Tanya Giddens as moderator and Chinesha Scott, Ronna Nicole, Tammy Sharp, and Tanya Pendleton as the roundtable panelists. And then I'm very excited, extremely excited, off the chain excited about the Now Experience, also known as the Next Power Generation Roundtable. And that is going to be moderated by the one and only Darlene Nisi, Kanisa Williams. And Kanisa hasn't been with us for a long time. So I am thrilled that she's kind of come out of hiatus just to be with us. So that alone is a reason to want to be there in the moment in real time. But we're also going to have a very own Theo join us for this roundtable panel. I'm so excited that Theo can join us. And Theo's partner in crime, Sydney C., is going to also be on this roundtable. And it was so amazing meeting them in person a couple of years ago at Celebration. It really, truly was wonderful. And that they're able to join us virtually for this symposium is really special. And then another What Did Prince Do This Week regular and someone I love dearly is Jessie Jenkins. So Jessie's going to be joining us. And then Mila My Heart is also going to be joining us. And obviously the wonderful Miss India. So this is going to be a really, really great panel. No Harold Pride this time. I really wish that Harold would join us, but no Harold this time. I will let Harold know that somebody wants to hear from. So after that, we're going to have another very special guest, which I'm very, very excited for, which is Michael Van Huffel, who was one of the artists / designers during this period. He worked closely with Debbie McGuan as well as Steve Park. So I'm very, very excited about this conversation because I'm a designer by trade and all of that. So that's what's going to be going down. And I'm very excited about this. I hope that you are too. And when you go to the website, you can find the link to pre-register over on Substack, or if you just want to go there, it's 30, and that's with 3 H's, .substack.com, and just sign up so you can get, when everything goes live, get newsletters and everything. There won't be a lot. But just a few to keep you in the know if you subscribe. And if you don't want to subscribe, you can just go to this link to figure out what's going on. All right. So again, you can get there through this bit.ly link /30 as well as this QR code and all of that. Love this, Theo. It's so important. Now is the time. Yes, it's going to be outrageous. I love that. Yes. This is very true. You never know when Harold will. I'm sure Harold will probably pop in at least in the chat. At least I hope so. And I love this from Theo. And I hope that all of us are taking the time to get ready by listening and reading and watching. There's so much to see, so many videos, so many concerts. Oh my God, during this era, it's really, my mind has been spinning. So yes, I'm sure you guys have said so much here, and I'm behind because I wasn't paying attention to the chat. Yes, Chanel, I so agree with this. Morris Hayes is such a great storyteller, and I will make sure that we get some and try to get some insight into the Tora character for sure. Yes, and yes, Camila is the truth for sure. Thank you so much, EA. I really do appreciate your wanting to, hear what everyone has to say or watch the presentations, which I know will be amazing. I also love the Tora style period. It was pretty amazing. And let's see. All right. Yeah, so this will all be on Zoom events, except for, like I said before, the 2 roundtables. I'm not sorry, not the roundtables, but the 2 special guests. So let me go back to this real quick. And so if you go to at the top, these 2 columns here, or if you're looking at it on your phone, you get one column after the next. It says all sessions on Zoom events. And that Zoom event link will be posted on Substack on Friday, with the exception of the very special guests. So this very special guest, if you go to my YouTube channel, which is at Polished Solid, you can already you can notify me, you can notify yourself for when they go live. And it's just those 2 keynotes that are currently on YouTube. And then eventually I will edit them and I will post them to this. But if you can't make it in real time, just register for Zoom events and you'll be able to watch it as soon as it ends and all the videos are uploaded. So, all this time I thought I was sharing my screen and I wasn't. So my apologies for that. And let's see, or maybe I stopped. Hold on one second. So I was sharing all of that and no one saw a thing, I don't think. So again, Michael Van Huffel will be our special guest. And let me cut off the comments here. And then Morris Hayes is our other very special guest. I love this. Morris Hayes sometimes actually transports himself into Prince and his storytelling. Oh, awesome. Thank you so much. I was like, what happened? I must have did something then. Thank you. I was like, oh my God, I was hoping. Yeah, thank you. I do need to drink some water. Thank you. I forget about that. All right. So again, we want to thank Dr. Pamela Ayo Yetunde for coming on and talking about her amazing book, Dearly Beloved, Prince, Spirituality, and This Thing Called Life. This is her Instagram again. It's just her full name. And then her website is also PamelaAyoYetunde.com. And we cannot forget about Dr. Funkenberry as his battle with cancer continues, unfortunately. So please send him a kind word. And if you're able to, please support his GoFundMe. And the same for Addie Durant, who was very critical to the Clubhouse version of the audience, just the fan version of Purple Rain, which was incredible. If you haven't had an opportunity to listen to that, it's the last time I checked, which was about maybe 3 or 4 months ago, was still on Clubhouse. Highly recommend that you do and give support to Addie and send a kind word. And then also Des Dickerson is also in need as well. This is the accompanying playlist. Like I said at the beginning of the hour, Night Child Reviews did an amazing overview of the Around the World in a Day deluxe announcement. And so if you really want the details, I highly recommend that you watch that. And then I also added like a lecture with Dr. Yetunde from a lecture she did about 4 months ago, if you want to hear more from her. And then also, again, I'm still living off the fumes of the Sign of Times Live in IMAX. I was not expecting that, but it was such an amazing, amazing time. Oh, thank you so much, LTK. I really do appreciate it. I don't like doing these solo. But it's just because if you were not here with me, I would really be like spiraling out of control. But I'm so grateful that you are here with me. That means so much. Each and every one of you in the chat, you didn't leave me hanging, and I really, really appreciate it. I love this comment from Theo, because I too learn something new every single time I attend one of the symposia. And to be honest, sometimes I'm doing 50 million things at the same time. So it's not until I go back and rewatch the video where I can really focus that I learn so much. And there's always, I learn new things in the chat as well. So yeah, there's no shortage of learning new things at these symposia. Thank you so much, Theo. And I really appreciate that because that is very, very true. Let's see. Thank you, Theo. Yes, we're gonna try to get her to come back on with Celie because I want to hear that conversation. I'm sure that would be really amazing. And yes, I got you. You got me. Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much, Chris. You're absolutely correct. I have to do this, but it's different when you're in person. Or virtually is a little different because you don't know if you're making an impact or not. So I really appreciate that, Chris, more than I could ever express. And yes, definitely, baby love. God bless Dr. Funkenberry, Des Dickerson, and Addie Durant for sure. And thank you so much, Chanel. I really appreciate that. And actually, while you're saying it, I need to get my my fan on because I'm getting hot. It's hot today in New York City. And yes, Michelle, can't wait until next week. That is for sure. And no, I haven't heard about this book. No, thank you for letting me know. There's always a new Prince book, but so thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much, Gabrielle. That means so much. All right, so I got to do some prep for the symposium. So we are going to end here. And yes, Kim, I did it. I did it. We're going to be on time. I can't believe it, even with the long read from the Rolling Stone magazine. And I just want to remind everyone to be just a little kinder to everyone that you meet right now. And I want to go out on this. The stream might cut out, which is totally fine. But when you hear what I'm about to play, you know where it's coming from. And if you don't, you need to ask somebody. Hold on to your soul. Have a good weekend, everyone.